And for the first time, the Swans are onward to victory.
Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods, a fan podcast of the Sydney Swans Football Club.
So to all you loyal Swans out there who just can't get enough of the red and the white,
fluff up your tail feathers and settle in for a potentially biased yarn about all things to do with our beloved Bloods.
G'day there, Cygnets and Swanlings. Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods, your place for our AFLW Sydney Swans. You're here, as always, with Chris from Sydney, and we have finished Steve in a different part of the country. Hello, Steve. How are you? Country, the world, another part of the world, mate. Where are you?
I'm somewhere. I'm in Canada right now visiting family. I don't know where I am. That's why I missed out a lot last week. But yeah, that's right. You lucky, very lucky loyal Swans fans, because we're still in the season and it's round 12. Welcome back to the podcast. Remember, if you like what you hear, give us a like, give us a follow. We're going to go over the game from last week against West Coast. Chris, tell us how it went.
Well, last Saturday at the Beating Heart Henson Park, our beloved Sydney Swans defeated West Coast by 17 points. We crunched the numbers pretty successfully. We know it's 17 points. 43-38, 26. Stevo, mate, your first impressions, an important win of the season. What did you think?
It was like, yeah, you said that 17 points, 3 goals. It kind of felt like it was more, but it kind of felt like it was less too in a way. Like it almost felt like a 4+ goal win, but then a lot of the game, it felt like it was barely a 2-goal margin in terms of the way it played out on the field, at least watching it on the telly. You were there though at the game. You were live, weren't you?
We were, yeah. We had a great spot there in the Whitebread Brewery spot just behind the goals. It was magnificent. Great weather. Great crowd, although it wasn't as big as we'd hoped. But yeah, just a fantastic day, and yeah, big win for the girls.
Yeah, beautiful. It was, yeah, and it was tight. It was against a good team. I mean, West Coast are absolutely right in the finals mix. They're ahead of us on the ladder still at the moment, going into round 12. And I think that if they'd won that, if they'd been able to come over to Sydney and get 4 points, they would have gone back to Perth with a home game to play in Perth in the last round. I think knowing that even if they lost, as long as, because they've got a solid percentage, West Coast, it's one of the better percentages in the bottom part of the 8, and I think that would have been a pretty big tick for getting them into the finals, if not a guarantee, a very big leg up. So they wanted it, and they played really hard, and I thought we did really well to get them, because we needed that win. And then if you think of that, in the last couple of weeks, we've had that one against West Coast, and then the really solid win against Carlton, also a contender in that sort of 5th to 10th kind of range on the ladder. Got within a couple of points of the Crows, who's also in that block of teams. So it's been some good form against some solid teams in the last month or so. So it's really good to see. And in terms of the game itself, like I really liked how they just stuck to their game, and despite some adversity, I think they really held on, because Chloe Malloy was missing, Sophia Hurley was missing, Cynthia Hamilton got whacked really badly, injured in the first quarter, so she was gone. And then they really stuck to it. Like, they stuck to their task, they got it done, and now we're in a situation where we've got 4 quarters of footy up in Coffs Harbour that'll decide if we can sneak into the finals or not.
Yeah, we'll talk about Coffs Harbour a little later, and how important the next game is going to be for wrapping up the season, getting us into finals. But we'll tease that for now. But yeah, I guess just to kind of point out, and just to be clear, and having the game at Henson Park and the noise and the amount of atmosphere that was going on there was magnificent. And it's just a testament to how much AFLW in Sydney really, really means on the ground. So it was a magnificent game to have there. A couple of notable people, as you mentioned there, Cynthia Hamilton's knock. To me, it looked like a knee on knee kind of knock. What did you see on the telly? It goes quite quick, and I couldn't find a slow down of it, but live, it looked like it was knee on knee,
something like that. And she's into the injury list as knee and ankle, like a double injury. So right. she really got crunched. Yeah, we'll go through the injury list later on too, and we'll look at the preview for the Essendon game, but. Yeah, it happened quick, and it was hard to sort of zoom in. I couldn't find anything. I had a bit of a look on like the Swans website and the AFLW and stuff, and couldn't find anything. And I don't know if I want to watch a close up of that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, yeah, I didn't really get a clear idea either.
I'll tell you what, straight after that knock, as Cynthia was coming off the ground, it was Lucy McAvoy, Big Boy McAvoy, co-captain of her beloved Swans. She was out there just talking, and she was pushing, talking. You had multiple people come in. She actually pulled away Lexi Hamilton from from getting into a fracas. She like pulled her back and went like, no, got this. And then she ingested herself instead. And she said many, many words. She pushed many, many girls. She made sure that she held a couple by the collar. We had multiple girls coming after her at once, and she took them all on, just letting them know what happened. I don't know. I love that kind of part when a co-captain gets up there and stands up for her girls and makes sure she has to say what she has to say and put up what she has to put up. Just makes me like her in so many extra ways. Yeah, Lucy McAvoy out there for the big win. But it does put a hole, as you mentioned there. We'll talk about the injuries as well. The other big, I guess, name we kind of want to mention is probably Privatelli and how wonderful she was in coming back into the team after sitting out for so long. Hungry Privatelli. What did you think of her game?
She was amazing. I mean, to come back in the team and play such a strong role, especially, I mean, Chloe Malloy's gone. We already mentioned Cynthia was gone in the first quarter. And, both of them can play a very strong role in that sort of forward 50-ish part of the ground. They take marks. They're very good on the ground as well. Privatelli, one of her goals came for holding the ball free kick. So you got a tall forward who's putting on, strong forward pressure and getting a hold on the ball and getting 6 points out of it. So that was fantastic. And just as the player that she is, like, she's been around the AFLW for, a long time, since the start. And it must, I reckon, eat at her to not be playing and to know that that she's feeling fit and not on the field. Because, as you get older in footy or in any sport, you know your years are numbered when you can play at your absolute peak, and she's still able to do that. But she's been on the reserves list, and she hasn't gone and sulked about it. Her attitude's been fantastic. I've seen clips that you've chatted to her at the game a couple of weeks ago. You were having a chat to her, and like, I really liked the way that she spoke about, I'm not out there. I'd love to be out there, but I'm really happy for how they're doing, and still putting herself out there, talking to, people like you on camera in the crowd, and not just going and stalking about it that she's not in the first. Then she gets in and she takes her opportunity, and she was a match winner. She kicked half the score.
That energy that she brings on the field, like, you kind of watch her, and she's quite an intense person on the field. One-on-one, she's actually, like, obviously this is straight after the game when I was having a quick chat with her. She's quite intense at that point. Like, when you're talking about the game, you can just feel that she is chomping at the bit. Like, every part of her is a competitor. And I think Jen, who's played against her, who knows her, has said the same thing. She's an absolute competitor. She's an absolute beast. Nothing gets in her way. And you kind of forget how actually relatively small she is. And slight, but she doesn't come across like that on the field. She is a tough nut.
No.
And it's really fun. Like, yeah, what do we say? Privatelli is just a beast, and we're happy to have her. And, like, yeah, everything you mentioned there, absolute veteran, says all the right things, does all the right things, gets her opportunities, and does not let up. Make sure she lets the coach know that she's out there. And I think a much better approach of going forward this week. I think last week we were really predictable going up forward. We were a bit bland, a bit lazy, just doing the obvious thing of 35 out, putting in the middle there, and we just weren't moving it very well. And this week was a very different story. I think we had a lot more pressure. We put the ball on the ground a whole lot more. I think the matchups made a lot more sense for us in our way. But even though we're missing Chloe, and we'll get into that, that's a big one. It was a much, much better showing going forward, as far as I'm concerned. Anything in the game that you want to pick up as well while we're into that?
I really liked the I sort of spoke about it a bit before, but I really liked, if you look at the game, it was fairly even for 3 quarters. It was really just the third quarter that was the difference on the scoreboard in the end. I think we kicked 3 goals to nothing, and that was the margin, 17 points in the end of the match. And so I really liked that they managed to get out to that lead, and then West Coast was always going to come back, and they did. They didn't just, let the Swans, like, it didn't feel like at 3/4 time, we're up by 20 odd points, I think. It didn't feel like, okay, this is a game that we're going to kick the last 3 goals and win by 40 plus. It didn't have that feel about it. it felt like West Coast is going to be in this until the end, and they did because they kicked that goal in the final quarter, and if they kick one or two more, you've got a 1-goal game with a couple of minutes to go. And the Swans, I think, really played their roles well, and despite missing two genuine stars and another very, very strong starter in Cynthia Hamilton, they got to work and they got it done.
Yeah. We did catch up with Cynthia Hamilton at the end there. She was walking past. We had a quick hello. It's ankle and knee. She seemed to be moving well. She seemed really positive at the time. She wasn't upset. She was really jovial. I kind of feel that's just her personality as well. She's a go-getter. But I would say pretty comfortably she's going to miss out in the game for this week.
Yeah, she's
Looks a bit
listed
rough.
TBC on the list, and after that hit, it looked pretty nasty, didn't it? And I'll tell you what, you're talking about Lucy McAvoy keeping Lexi away. I tell you, the West Coast players should be the ones that are thanking Lucy McAvoy.
Yeah, Lexi is not messing around. And I was watching that, and I was like, why would you stop Lexi from putting her body on someone? I think she's probably protecting Lexi from a couple of weeks off. Yeah, exactly. We're a bit light
Lexi for some weeks off. And
I think that's really what it came down to.
From some serious bruising. God, she would have done a job on them. Anyway,
she doesn't mess around. She's everyone's big sister in that team, and absolutely for bloody Cynthia, her actual sister. We probably want to point out too, Gardner's 50th game. She was magnificent, and I think what I did see from her game this week was actually someone who wasn't necessarily hitting the ball up wherever it landed. She was, for what I could tell on the ground, really efficient to where she was. So she was not necessarily out there to get the amount of ball, but she was out there to make the most amount of impact. Still ended up with PlayStation numbers, as she typically does. But it seemed like a much smarter approach from her on the big 50th. Maybe that's the future of Garda. We might not see 40-something touches, but you'll see low 30s in a really, really impactful game. 50 games for her. She could have had so much more if she was at the Cats, if they put her on the field a few more times. But how lucky we've been to get her for as long as we've had her.
Yeah, Geelong have given us a couple of good ones, haven't they? Because if you're old enough and remember the Swans in the 80s, early 90s, when Geelong gave us Greg Williams, and he racked up some footy too, and won a best and fairest or two, and won a Brownlow. So thanks, Geelong. I agree with you. I think she didn't get her, but she got 30 touches, I think, and we'll talk about her more in the best players because I reckon she would have snuck in. When we talk about that in a minute, when we give out our votes. But yeah, she got 30 odd touches this time. She didn't get her 40 plus, but I think her impact, as you said, was no more or less what it is when she gets those big numbers, and her tackle number was really high this week as well. Her ball use was good. She was clean with the ball, really clean. There wasn't much of that sort of rushed footy, scrappy kicks. She was really, really good with bringing players into the game, hitting targets, some of those short kicks that she does, which really opened the field up. It was really nice to watch. She did really well.
Yeah, that's interesting to mention. You mentioned about the short kicks there. I think that was a good part of the entire team. I think you've got the numbers there for the amount of the marks that we had.
Yeah, down here. Yeah, 43 to 23 marks, which is actually a little bit under our season average. Our season average ticks around 50, but it was about half West Coast season average. West Coast are averaging 40 marks in a game, and they only got 23 off us. So we didn't let them chip and charge. We didn't let them spread the ball, and we didn't let them.
It did look like we were
when they did get it inside 50.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it did definitely feel like our defense was our biggest strength. There was a lot more. It seemed like a lot more man on man. We were watching Tarrant just get dragged well up the field. Tarrant typically is the last man standing. And she was being dragged all over the place, and she was up there in the forward line at one point. And we asked her after the game, she was actually looking to have a sneaky goal at one point, but that's where her match would drag her up to. And Ash Van Loon was actually last one on the right, and she had, honestly, we've been saying her name a fair few times. I think I've been calling her out. I think I've really enjoyed her game. Her last last week was probably her best game going around. We mentioned last week. I'd say this game was even better. She was amazing. Ball on the ground, ball in the air, sticking to her girl. Like she was relentless, taking 2-on-1s, doing the really smart thing of putting the ball in possession but not grabbing. Just she was really good. And the entire White Bay Brewery section was just calling her out. Like Donna said, like, "Go Ash, you're a gem, Ash." And I don't know if she listens. I don't know if one of her friends does go back and listen to the potty and wants to let her know. But I don't know if she knew this at the time, but there was an entire section of the field that was calling her out to saying how good she was playing that day. So Ash Van Leeuwen's probably best game of the season. And it's a testament to the defense we were doing across the board with the man-on-man approach. Maybe touches on that Marks as well.
Very good in. I mean, very underrated in the off season. I think she was, and we brought in half a squad almost. We brought in about 10 or a dozen players. I can't remember exactly how many, but she's one who's been really important in the team, and it was nice to see her. Not necessarily step up. I think she's stepped up all year. She's been great, but to really take that role and stand out. The other one actually I want to mention quickly was Holly Cooper. We've been fans of hers for a while, especially since she's from north of the Hawkesbury, and her goals were both gems. I mean, we talked about Privatelli kicked 3 of 6, she kicked 2 of 6, and they were good goals. Like she's an opportunist, she just gets it. And I love her celebration. I think it was her first goal. She kicks it, and like Holly Cooper's 5'5" maybe, and there's this bit where she jumps up right into Ali Morfitt's arms after the goal. It was awesome. And that was a fair jump.
Yeah, she is little. Yeah, she's also another one that has a bit of intensity when you talk to her, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I love her. I love her approach. I think she's a star. She's 20 years old. She's a local Sydney girl. Like we've got a
Local
lot
Sydney.
ahead.
She's from Newcastle. You gotta get a bit of an atlas out, mate. I think, yeah.
Come on, mate. Come on.
Local Sydney.
Sydney Swans Academy. She's local.
Sydney goes to the Byron Bay these days, does it? So
see, this is the problem with doing a podcast with someone from the Central Coast. They just want to draw a line. Want to draw a line early.
We have a line. It's called the Hawkesbury River. It's a very effective natural boundary. It keeps us separated.
Yeah, well, I don't believe in that. Yeah. I think that's why we build bridges.
But she's from north of the lake. She's from Cardiff, just like Isaac Heaney. So a good place to learn how to play footy.
Yeah, sounds like Sydney. No, but yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think she was amazing. I actually talked to her after the game, and I don't think I put it up there. I got to do that. Actually, this is life with a baby. Don't have time. 2 minutes, 2 seconds to rub together. But we actually had a quick chat with her.
Edit video and audio, mate. You'll be set.
The kid doesn't have proper thumbs yet. I'm trying.
Oh dear,
he doesn't listen. He doesn't know English yet.
Got a while.
Yeah.
Get to work.
I even mentioned at the time to Holly, I'm like, that was probably your best game. She goes, yeah, I think so too. And I love that confidence. That's cool. I love that. That's what you want to hear from a girl. Like, I love the way I played. I want to do that every week. That's right, you do. And to your point, she's opportunist. She barely had a touch of the ball to make an impact. We've mentioned that a few times. Her first goal was very much like that, and her second goal was just her being an absolute mongrel and getting that kick, getting that free kick. So was it a free kick or a mark? Either way, it just goes to show that she doesn't mess around. She does what she has to do to make it happen. And she's a superstar for a long, long time for us.
Yeah. Here's her stats
think,
just
mate?
quickly. All right.
Go for it.
2 goals from 10 touches. She touched the ball 10 times and 2 of them are goals. That's pretty good.
Yeah, see. 4 tackles amongst it. She doesn't need much.
I'd wager that most of those are in the forward part of the ground, her tackles. So she's making good impact.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, let's get quickly stuck into the Bob medal while we're here. We've spoken about the game. Let's get stuck in the Bob medal, and then we can bloody well talk about what this means to our season. So Bob medal, our equivalent of the Bob Skilton medal. 3-2-1 points every week. On the AFLW side of the potties, we like to just battle it out at the time, but looking at the date and the names here, mate, I don't think there's going to be much of a battle. Stevo, do you want to take it away with your 3-2-1, mate?
Yeah, I will. I had Laura Gardner first. She was my number one 50th game. She killed it. Like she was all over it. Really wasn't. I mean, she had, like we said before, like slightly less than her standard 35 plus. She had 30 touches, 6 marks, 12 tackles, some clearances. I couldn't go past her for best.
She's just like, even on a slightly quiet day, she's unbelievable. Like, what are you going to say about her? The 12 tackles, I think, is a testament to how hard she works, and she does everything on both sides of the ledger, offense and defense. It would have been nice for her to get a sneaky goal there to celebrate her 50th, but you can't have everything. She deserved every bit of those 3 points. So yeah, no argument from me, mate. 3 points. Laura Gardner, that's an easy one.
Oh, that was easy. Okay. Do you want my second one then? I promised Jen already that I'd be throwing votes Tanya Kennedy's way, so she gets, and it's not just because I want to stay on Jen's good side, but it's because, Kennedy, I thought she was my second best. She was really good as well. She had 20-odd touches, very kick-heavy. I love seeing this from midfielders. She had 18 kicks, 6 handballs, so 3-to-1 kick-to-handball ratio, so I enjoyed that. 9 tackles. She 7 clearances, which was really, really good. That was our best. I think it might even have been the best on the field. I'll just double check. Yeah, best on the field. So 7 clearances was most on the field. And she had some really good explosive centre clearances. Some of her takeaways from the centre were especially nice to watch. So I had her for 2.
I'm not going to argue, and I'm also not going to get in the way of Jen being able to celebrate her absolute favourite. I don't want to.
The TK train
bad side.
keeps chugging on. Yeah, poor Jen. And then she's not here. We talk bad about her.
We tell her how biased she is, and she's not even here. But this week, totally justified. Like, that's unbelievable. She really played a great game, and I think, not having Ella Robertson on the field, which she most likely would have been tagging Ella Roberts if Ella played. That was a late and very important out for West Coast. Allowed Tanya just to go out there. Oh, okay. My game plan was to go tag somebody, and now I'm just kind of on the loose. She got on the loose a bit, and she made absolute damage and an easy 2 points in the Bob medal. So yeah, well done, Jen. Your girl keeps going.
Gets the footy. Like, okay, I think she's one of the best defensive midfielders in the competition at the moment. Like, this year especially, she's really taken a step, but she gets the ball and she uses the ball well. And, she had, which she had 18 kicks, and I haven't got the exact numbers here, but I reckon most of those kicks would have either gone to the intended target or at least gone to a place where we could have brought it down to a 50-50 on the deck. And some of her kicks inside 50, these flat penetrating kicks inside 50 are really good.
Getting that scramble going on as well. I think that's what we've been talking about a little bit. Going into that forward line, we can't just be doing the loopy ones. I think we need to get it on the ground, especially with the size and the type of forwards we've got going at the moment with Chloe out. I think the scramble is important. All right, 2 points for Kennedy. No questions about it. Well done, Jen. Your girl continues to get points. You've basically
even in her absence, she's done it. She's got in our heads, Jen, hasn't she? So even though she's not here, we're still giving out points to TK. Well done, Jen.
She's just come back. Oh, Jen.
Yeah.
All right. 1 point, mate. 1 point left over. Who did you have in mind for that?
We already talked up a bit. I had Privatelli. It was a bit tough. There were a few others, like Montana Ham was close for me as well. But Privatelli I had for 3. Oh, sorry, for 1, like third best.
Yep. Yeah, I think I also would have thrown in, as we just mentioned before, Ash Van Loon had an incredible game.
Yep,
I think
also
was super important, that back line. But yeah, I don't disagree. I think it'd be just it'll just be rolling dice or flipping a coin, to be honest with you, between the two of them. So yeah, Privatelli, as for all the points we noted before, and just the fact that she's back in there and doing what she does best at a time where we very much need her. Love Priv. I think she's going to obviously be a huge key to how far we go further into this finals berth. And I guess we might as well get stuck into it. Okay, so Gardner with the 3 points, Kennedy with 2 points, and Privatelli with the 1 wraps up our Bob medal. Take it to the ladder. I'll quickly talk it through, and then if you want to get into the tricky bits, let's get stuck into it. We're coming in 9th, 6 wins, 5 losses at 108%. Snap percentage is incredibly important right now. Stevo gets stuck into that. Our game ahead is against the Bombers over there in Coffs Harbour. Now, we did call it at the beginning of the season or earlier in the season. If we have to end up with the final game in bloody Coffs Harbour and that game is on the line for a finals berth or not, I was going to be livid, and I'm livid. Like, we had the opportunity to keep it in Henson Park. We are all about making sure we promote the game in Sydney. We're all about making sure we get the biggest numbers to every single game to try to hit these KPIs, that the impossible KPIs that the AFL is setting up. And yet we decided to ship a game over to Coffs Harbour. Nothing against Coffs Harbour, nothing against the fans over there. Absolutely dyed in the wool. I know that. But in terms of what this means to the season and a finals berth, I'm pissed off, mate. Stevo, what do you think?
I was just thinking, actually, based on the definition of Sydney that we agreed on, that it goes as far as Byron Bay. This is in Sydney, isn't it? So,
come on, mate. Using my logic against me at an appropriate time. How dare you?
Be careful. We're not here to be taken lightly.
You got to watch out for these law people.
Sydney folk.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Be careful. This is what I do for a living. So yeah, look, I agree, and look, I think 100% they should be taking games outside of capital cities. I think it's really important that they do, and I think it's important that it's not just like preseason games or trial games. I think it's really important that it's games that mean something. I think it's a really good thing. I don't think that teams that are trying to develop a sport, especially in a developing market like New South Wales or Queensland, I don't think they should then have to give up a home game to do that. I think that's crap. I think that, the Swans should still get to play 6 in Sydney, and this one in Coffs Harbour or anywhere else they choose to do it, doesn't matter in the state, is an extra one. And that means, because they still got to travel, like it's still an away trip. It's still the same preparation for away. And okay, the crowd up there in Coffs, I'm assuming, is going to be very, very heavily Swans, because the Coffs Harbour region has been in the Swans zone through the academies and stuff ever since the beginning. I remember when I was playing, God, years ago, that was all part of like the sort of not Sydney. This was pre-academy years, but like people from up Coffs would come down and play with us in the Hunters, even like in the Hunter region. So there's been this connection for a long time, and it's a really good field up there. I've played up there quite a while ago now, and that long ago it was really good. And if they're playing AFLW up there, I'm sure it's an excellent facility, because it was, a decade or more ago, and I'm sure it still is. But yeah, like it's just not having that same parochial Henson Park crowd, which is that extra oomph to get them over the line. And I still think that all the Coffs people are going to turn up, and there'll be, stands full of red and white. But and maybe Essendon's preparation is different. I mean, they probably don't fly direct there, do they? Wouldn't be is there a flight? Because from Sydney, I reckon you can fly direct to Coffs, but I don't know if you can from Melbourne. So maybe they have to transfer, and it stretches it out. But still, it's taking away a bit of the advantage in the final round of the season.
Yeah.
Like, do it in round 3 or 4. I don't know. Don't do it in round 12.
Yeah, that was kind of my position on it. And I'm not a big fan of playing games. I understand for all the reasons that the AFLW wants to expand the reach of the game and get it out to these regional areas. But in spite of what? In spite of playing consistently at home in front of the biggest crowds in the AFLW at a time when we're really trying to get those numbers going, I don't understand the logic. I didn't get it then. I don't get it now. I'm obviously being very selfish, because the Swans, we want to make finals. We want to put them in the best place to do so. But is that a problem, that the AFLW's biggest team is going to make finals? That's a good thing. And yet we're not giving them the best opportunity by making them play away. So I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I just think if you look at the men's, I mean, Collingwood's the biggest club and they don't have to travel, so maybe that's how it should work in the women's too. I mean, I don't actually think that's how it should work, but but I just don't think it makes sense when you've got a team which is pulling in consistently crowds that are, double, triple, 4 times what a lot of the Victorian, like established old school Victorian clubs are pulling. Why would you dock them a home game?
Yeah, I don't know. It annoys me.
Yeah.
Anyway, it all comes down to this game, the final. So, Stevo, you've done a pretty good wrap up. I'm presuming you love this kind of stuff. To describe what needs to happen to make sure that our beloved girls get themselves in the final. So, take it away. Crunch those numbers.
It's very professionally written on the back of a receipt from a cafe. So I'm gonna run through it here. All right. So we'll start with the ladder as it is. So from 5th down to 10th is the teams that mathematically in that group are kind of fighting for these couple of spots in the 8. So that's Carlton 5th, St Kilda 6th, West Coast 7th, Adelaide 8th, Swans 9th, Freo 10th. And Carlton and St Kilda are even on wins. They're both on 28 points. And then West Coast, Adelaide, Swans and Freo are all on 24 points on 6 wins. we can probably write Freo off because their percentage is terrible. They've got 82%. They're 20% below the next worst one in that group, except St Kilda, who's a win ahead. So then what I've done is out of that group of 6, I've then looked at who they play. West Coast and Carlton play each other in Perth. Swans play Essendon, as we've talked about. St Kilda play the Bulldogs, who've had a pretty rough year. And then Adelaide play Fremantle at home, so in Adelaide. So if we take the home games out of that, so if we say West Coast beat Carlton at home, we beat Essendon, Saints beat the Dogs, and then the Crows beat Freo, that leaves us with this. It leaves us with a 5 through to 10th. It goes St Kilda, West Coast, Carlton, Adelaide, Sydney 9th, Fremantle 10th. That's not allowing for changes in percentage that will come. So it means that if West Coast win, we need to win and improve percentage relative to our rivals. If West Coast lose, we only need to win. And we know the result of that before our game because they play before us. So the first thing we're hoping for is a West Coast loss against Carlton, because then we just have to win.
Now, the first year we made finals 2 years ago, I remembered that last game was, I'm pretty sure it was against Freo, and it was a must-win game, and we did the number successfully. And here we are again, this time wishing that Freo either wins that game or at least keeps the percentage to an absolute minimum, and then we have to really play a strong game against the Bombers to pump out our percentage. How much? So Adelaide. So between Adelaide and Sydney, that 8th spot, Adelaide currently has. They're at 109%, and Sydney's at 108.4%.
Yeah, that's right.
How much is that in numbers? Have we crunched that yet? Are we looking at what, 20, 30, 40 points?
The problem with percentage is it's not just a clean for and against. It's always a ratio. The Swans have actually got a lot of points for. We've also conceded more because we copped some bigger losses against like North and Melbourne and someone else gave us a touch up too, I forget. So even though we had that really, really high early percentage against we were Gold Coast by like 100 or whatever we scored against them, that's kind of been eaten away. So that's where we're back to not having a whopping percentage anymore. So really, the first thing we need to worry about, well, the way this whole thing goes is based on the first game. So if, depending on the West Coast Carlton result, we know what has to happen next. If Carlton win, we're in a percentage race with Adelaide, really. Sorry, if West Coast win, I mean, sorry. If Carlton, what did I just say? No, hang on.
If West Coast wins,
confused. Well, if West Coast lose, sorry. If Carlton win, it doesn't matter. We can't catch Carlton. If West Coast win, then yeah, we're at a very messy, probably 3-way percentage fight with Carlton, Adelaide, and ourselves, who are all on pretty much the same. So we just need to win by as much as we can.
Yep. Carlton 113, Adelaide on 109.7, so 110, and then us on 108.4 rather. Yeah. So, okay, so it looks this way. If we win this week and Adelaide win, we have to win convincingly. So the girls are going to, as you mentioned there, the girls are going to get out there. They're going to have to be chomping at the bit, fired up as all hell. So the last game of the entire weekend is a 5 p.m. game, Crows and Freo, to effectively determine the 8, probably.
Yeah, although that might not matter if, at least for us, if looking at it, so if West Coast lose in Perth and we win, we're in. Doesn't matter. That's all done. So all of the percentage things come if Carlton win. Sorry, if Carlton lose. We want West Coast to lose.
Yep. West Coast loses and we win. That is us.
Yeah.
With a percentage. With a percentage.
Yeah, we guaranteed in. Yeah. So if the Eagles manage to get done, so if Eagles lose, we go into our game knowing that if we win, we're in the finals.
Yep.
If the Eagles can't get the win, if the Eagles can get the win, if the Eagles win, then we go into this probably three-way
Finals
percentage
bullshit
fight.
situation.
Yeah, with the Crows and with the Blues.
And I think
yeah.
10 points of percentage is too hard for us to get. Like that's a
Yeah,
big number.
we probably need to win by a fair bit, I'd imagine.
I don't know, 80. I'm making stuff up. I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right. So really, number one is the girls must win to give ourselves a chance. We know that much. And then we are dependent on that West Coast game, Carlton, and we are dependent potentially on the LA game, Freo. So go Freo, go Carlton. Let's go this week.
Yeah, but it's not as simple as, like, I've seen some stuff in the media and stuff saying if the Swans win, then they're in. It's not as simple as that.
It's not as simple as that.
It's more than likely if we win, probably, but it's not signed off.
Yep. All right, so we're going into the game where, as you said before, we're missing Chloe Malloy. She's been ruled out for the rest of the season. She's going in for back surgery over the next couple of days, regardless of what happens this week. So that huge loss, huge loss for us. Obviously, Privatelli has kind of been able to step into that, so we'll see what that is. Supposedly, I recall seeing that Sophia Hurley was a test for this week. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I've got the list here, actually. I can quickly read through the news. So Cynthia Hamilton with her ankle and knee, she's TBC, so who knows? They're doing more checks on her and stuff. I think they did some scans. And
I can't see that coming back, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, certainly not this weekend. Chloe Malloy back for the season, out with a back surgery for the season. Sophia Hurley is listed as a test on her quad, and then also out for the season we got Sarah Still-Park with a finger, Julia O'Sullivan with a knee, and then Maddie Collier with an ankle. So they're done. So really, Hamilton is out, and I guess we're hoping that Hurley comes in to replace her. I guess would be the preferred. And then
that'd be nice. I mean, okay, I was going to ask, when was the last time Hurley played?
Earlier, this like round 5, maybe. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's got to be. It's got to be pretty early. And I think that's really a bit of a concern of mine. Like I appreciate. Obviously, we want to see her in. But if she's not played and she's battling a soft tissue injury in the hammy, in the quad rather, yeah, she hasn't played since round 3, so that's just rough. I don't
round 3. Wow, that long ago.
Oh no, yeah, she played round 8 against the Kangas, I feel. Actually.
Yeah, and then went back out again. Yeah, she was just one in, one out. Yeah.
Yeah, so she played 1, 2, and 3 potentially. I think she'll start off a little bit injured. She came in for the Cats and then out for 4 weeks before playing the Roos, and then out again since. So I just worry. I don't know. Even if she is good to go, are you putting her straight into the team, Stevo? If you're super coach?
Yeah, I am, because if we don't win this, then there's no week 1 of finals anyway.
Yeah, I like it.
Even if she plays a small role. Yeah, even if you can just play her off the bench in the forward pocket, whatever, I'd still rather have her in if it's our last potential chance to get in the finals.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's that. I think one thing I did want to mention, I forgot to mention, and we'll probably get into it hopefully next week. Lulu Puller has been absolute gunning it. I think she is a bit of a smoky for next year as well. She's been playing better and better, but yeah, she's kind of filled up one of the spots that some of the players that we've listed here that they've not been able to play. Yeah, she's done a really, really good job. She's been part of our recent success. One last thing, mate. What do you have? Oh, actually, should we get stuck in the predictions before we do that?
Yeah, and I was wanting to say too, I was checking. We've never beaten Essendon, so this is the first chance. We've only they came in the same year as us, so they're also like the most recent expansion, like 2022 in, and we only played them twice because the fixture is such that you don't necessarily play everyone every year. So we lost to them by 4 points in 2022 and by 3 points last year. So if you want a prediction from me, it's that we're gonna what's 4 times 3? 4, 12. So we're gonna win by 12.
Okay, I like this little numerical.
We're really
gymnastics
just,
there.
We're a maths podcast masquerading as a footy podcast.
Yeah, we get it wrong most of the time, but that's okay.
Yeah. It took us 10 minutes to explain the ladder, and I think we still didn't make sense.
I'm sorry about everyone if your head's hurting. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I was confused myself by the end, and I'd written it all down. I still couldn't get my head around it.
I've just decided to give up on it. I'm not going to bother. No. All right. Yeah, you're saying 12. I'm going to go up a bit higher. I'm going to say 22. I think it's going to be a very strong win for our girls, knowing that the game is the last chance we get. One last thing, mate. What do you have to say?
This week, a very much loved stalwart of the footy club and of AFLW, not just of the Swans. She's played at 3 different clubs. Maddie Collier announced her retirement. She's 30 years old. She's had a really good career. Since debuting in 2017, she's played 47 games. Is what I looked up. So got very, very close to the 50. If she'd been able to stay on the field this year, she would have cracked the 50, I think, because she would have been in the team. Got those 3 games to get her to the 50. She grew up a Swans fan. She's a foundation AFLW player at both the Giants and the Swans, which I think is pretty amazing. And she also had a stint at West Coast. So yeah, if you get a chance, she did a little talk to the playing group on the Swans website. Go and check it out. She's pretty funny, and the way that she spoke, I think it speaks to the sort of person that she is, and wish her best after footy.
Inaugural co-captain, of course. Can't say enough about her. I think there's a lot of respect that goes her way across the whole AFLW community. The fans, what she did, there's a reason why they picked her to be co-captain. Her experience, the kind of personality she is, her leadership. So yeah, we wish her all the best in her next endeavours. But love you, Collier. Hopefully get in touch with you, and yeah, have a lovely chat. But she is an absolute gem. Well, that wraps it up for the week. We will not see you at the game because it's up in Coffs Harbour. But if you are going to the game, please reach out to us. Let us know how you're going to go. We'd love to hear how the atmosphere and everything is. But I guess, Stevo, until then, up the Bloods.
Count the Swans.
Count your Swannies.
Count the Swannies.
Come on, girls. One more. Let's go.
This podcast is an independent fan-run production and is in no way affiliated with the Sydney Swans Football Club, its players, or the AFL. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect